So here's what I want us to think about. When I always start thinking about putting together some type of promotion, some type of ad, I start with the first question, and the first question I always think about is what, right? And there's going to be a series of questions here. Oh, I don't like the way they came out. I'll do it that way. The what. All right, so what does that mean, what? Well, what is my product or my service? What makes us different, right? What is it that I'm trying to sell? You need to have those answers. You need to know what you're trying to sell and what is your product. You really need to have it defined. That's why we talk about that unique selling proposition, that unique value proposition. This is where that definition comes into play. What is it that you do? What is it that makes you different than everybody else, okay? The next thing you should know here is, I don't want to do that way. I don't know why my question mark is looking bad today, but okay, now it's a little better, right? All right. The next thing you want to know is why. Now, because you have a different product, that's great. But why does it exist? Why would someone buy it? Why is your product better than someone else's? So you need to have those explanations in your head. You have to have these answers already before you start creating any type of ad or any type of promotion. You need to know the why. What do you think the next question would be? It's another W. The next logical, I like where, but hold on to that thought. Give me a different one that's better than where.
When who?
Better than when, it's who, right? The who. So who? Why is the who important?
Who's gonna buy it?
Who's gonna buy it? Who is your target audience? Exactly right. It doesn't matter how good your product is. It doesn't matter why you say the product is so different. But if you don't know your target audience, you're not going to be able to sell the product successfully.
Yeah, we need to know where they are.
Well, that comes next. You need to know who they are first. You can always find out where they are. That's the next W I'll put there is where, all right? And the final one is when, and then there's one more question, and that's how, right? So what are those questions? Those are basic elementary type questions that we did for school reports, book reports, if you remember. It still applies today when we think about our marketing. What is my product? What is the difference? Why will someone buy it? Who is going to buy it? Where will they buy it, right? Where will they sell it? When will they buy it? When will I sell it? And how will I get the product to them? How will I be able to deliver that service or that product to them? So you have to have all these answers in your head. Now, I want to focus a little bit here on the who. The who is also known as our target audience. Now we can call that persona. Anybody know that word persona? Buyer persona, right? P-E-R-S-O-N. So what is the persona? The persona is a representative of the group of liked individuals that will buy your product. So it's not one individual, it's actually a group of liked individuals that have similar interest. Like in this case, I would have a group of digital marketing students. That would be everyone here in the room. Okay, but then I would be able to say maybe there's a group of digital marketing students that are male, group of digital marketing students that are female. So now I start breaking that down into what we call segments, right? So now it's getting down into a little further detail, and that's going to be important for us to know as we start promoting our product. Now I want to try an exercise. I need a volunteer. Who wants to come up and volunteer? All right. I want everyone to pay attention. It's Abdul, right? Yes. All right. Abdul, here's your instructions. Pretty simple. I want you can step a step closer. You probably need to step closer. Throw that ball up against the wall and catch it. Everybody watch what he does. Do it 3 times. Go ahead.
I catch it?
Yeah, you got to catch it 3 times. 1.
Should I?
You should catch it. Try to catch it. Do it 3 times. You ready? 1, 2, 3. 3. Perfect. Stop. You can turn around now. All right. Wait, stay here. We're not done. That's only the first part. How did he do?
Good.
He did good? He did good? Anybody else? Good?
Pretty good.
How do you know he did good?
Because he catch it.
Because he caught it. And is that what you were measuring on? Basically him catching it? All right. We really don't know how he did because we have no idea what he was trying to. What were you trying to hit? What were you trying to do?
Yeah, I
Just
just
catch it.
He was just trying to catch it. That was it. That was a simple goal.
try not to move as well.
You try not to move as well. All right, now let's do something a little different. Now, if I do this for you, right?
Oh god. Oh, that's more harder. Yeah.
More harder? You think so? Now try that. Now do the same thing. Stay in the same place. Now we'll watch him again. See how he does. Go ahead.
Okay.
1, 2. Up. It's all right.
Can I move?
Yeah, of course. It's your boy. You can. Oh, and now he's throwing the overhand. He's really into it. All right, 3 times. How did he do that time? How did you think you did that time?
Well, yeah, 1/3.
1/3. So now you have a measure of how he did, right? Why do you know what you did? Because you had a target here, right?
Yeah.
All right, not bad. Okay, good. You're good.
That's great, yeah.
I don't think the Marlins are going to hire you to play third base anytime soon, but you did a good job. Thank you very much. All right, so here's the point of that exercise. What changed in not only his demeanor, but his attitude? Did you see his attitude change once I put this target up? He got a little more confident in what he can do, and he even threw the ball overhand, right? So when you put up a target, what can change for you? Everything, because now you know what you want to hit. So imagine being out there, and there are plenty of companies that are out there. They just take this and they just throw the ball up, and they throw the ball up, and they say, okay, eventually we'll hit the target or we'll sell something. They do get lucky. Every once in a while someone walk by, boom, they hit them in the head or something like that. So you will get lucky. But if you don't plan out who your target is, then you're not going to be successful. So you have to have a target. You have to have a focus. That's where that who comes into play. So if you're selling red sneakers, as an example, who can you sell red sneakers out to? You could sell them to men or women. You could sell them for fashion or for sport, right? So you have to understand the what, the why, and the who, and then you could figure out all this other stuff. All right, let me show you one other thing now. When we talk about segments, I'm going to erase this, okay? All right, we'll take this down. So let's say I'm going to try to build a square here. Not a perfect square, but that's not bad, right? That's the best I could do. All right, but now I'm going to do I'm going to do a few more squares. Hold on. Okay. Now I'm going to do a few more squares. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop there. How many squares are up on that board? 16. Is that right? 16. Anybody have a different guess? How many squares are up there? 17. Anybody have a different guess? Who wants to take a different guess? 1. That's a good guess, but down. I'll put that up there. 1.
Yeah, 16 plus
16
the big one.
plus the big one. All right, so let's think.
22.
22. Okay, we're getting higher now, right? All right. Anybody have a different guess?
I'm getting easy.
Different? All right. Let's count this out. Let's see what it says. So, obviously, we see the big square. That's 1. Then we have all these individual squares, right? So that's 16. So that's 17, right? 1 plus 16 is 17 so far. What about this? Is that a square?
Yeah, 4.
That's 4 more. Okay, perfect. What about this? Is this a square?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 more.
4 more, right? Okay. What about this? Is this a square? And what about this? Is that a square? What about this? Is that a square? And what about that? Is that a square? That's 4 more, right? Okay. What about the center? Is that a square? Another one. Anything else I miss? All right, so far we're up to 17, 21, 25, 29, we're up to 30. 30 so far, okay? I think there's one more that I missed, but all right, but here's my point here. So let's say that square represented your target market, your total target market. Everybody that's gonna buy your product is in this square. Now, you could break up that group 30 different ways, because maybe there's someone that that's over here, that's over here. So you see how you can segment it. That's called segmentation. That's how we segment our target market. What, are they running out there playing basketball?
Like a little...
Oh, trolley? All right. So that's called segmentation. So we have to drill down to a small segmentation. Why? Because we want to get to the persona that's going to work for us. So here's how we would do that. If we know, let's say we have a Professor Ken's Bake Shop. Okay, Professor Ken's Bake Shop. And I have to have, what do I have to have first in order to really begin? What's the first thing I need to have? At Professor Ken's Bake Shop, I need to make something, right? And it needs to be unique, something different. So I happen to have a unique recipe for a pineapple coconut cupcake. It's like pineapple coconut filling inside, really unique, tropical flavors, right? 80% of my house is Dominican. My wife's Dominican, my kids are Dominican, so I like tropical flavors.
Oh my goodness.
I know, right? I know, it's a big mix. Dominican, Japanese, and Italian. All right, so I make that tropical coconut cupcake really unique at Professor Ken's Cupcake Shop. But now, people will drive X amount of miles to my shop. They're not gonna drive forever. Maybe within 30 miles, they'll drive to my shop. Okay, anyone go to that the fireman's cupcake place somewhere around here? I think it's in here, right? Fireman, what is it?
Fireman Derek?
Yeah, Fireman Derek, right? Is it here or near Woodenwood or something like that? But that people drive. We live in Broward. We drive down occasionally to go to get those cupcakes that he makes, right? Okay, so you're gonna drive. Maybe you drive 30 miles. So I am in Miami. So I am going to market my product to anybody who buys cupcakes within 30 miles of my store, right? Make sense? Everybody agree with that? I'm going to target everyone who buys cupcakes within 30 miles of my store. Why? Because they're probably not going to drive from Palm Beach down to buy my cupcake. So let's say that that's a total of 500,000 people from population point of view. Now, can I break that down a little further? Yeah. I can, to what?
Adults.
Well, adults are going to be buying it, but now if I think adults, I could do mostly women. By the way, women make up 85% of all the purchases online. So guys, you just don't matter, really. I mean, it doesn't matter. Women buy everything, and when they don't buy, they influence everything else. Okay, so that's the truth. All right, so let's say it's a woman, okay, and then maybe you have women mostly with kids. I would say, right? If they're going to be buying cupcakes, wouldn't you say? Women with kids, okay. Now, can you break that down a little bit? Let's say out of that 500,000, there's 200,000 there. Maybe it's women with kids that are high school plus kids, and maybe women with kids that are elementary school, okay?
And income, I think it's most important.
We can use income too, so maybe we want to do income over here. So we call that HHI, which is household income. So maybe 60K plus or 100K plus, whatever the income is we pick. So now we're drilling that down a little further. So eventually we get to these smaller segmented boxes.
So the narrowest is the best, or?
The narrowest is the best, yes. Do you ever hear that expression? The riches are in the niches. That means that if we focus in on that small target, we would be more successful. Let me ask you a question. Would you rather have 1 million people that follow you that spend no money with you, or 1,000 people that follow you that spend $1,000 a year with you? Exactly right. Why? Because they're like this. They're tight with you, right? They're real. So these Kim Kardashian followers, you know, yeah, I'm sure because she has so many that some people will make sales from it, but not everybody, not all the products she promotes is gonna work for everybody in her chain, right? So you wanna be down here. Now when we create ads, we also wanna target down to our markets as well. We're doing our market by geography, and we're doing our market by behavior and by demographics. That's the key. So you'll see that when we start drilling down. But we want to get down as far as we can, because that's going to help us get more bang for our buck. That's the key there, all right?
Well, another point of view is, so when we narrow down, so it will be, so we will end up like a very, very small group of people.
Yes, but then that's a great point. But now let's say your shop is 30 miles. You geo-target anyone within 30 miles, right? But you say, you know what, I want more people, so let's make this 60 miles. What is the reality that someone's going to drive 60 miles to your shop? Not good. Probably not good, right? Now, if you're paying $1 every time someone clicks on that ad, and that ad ends up you end up spending another $500 on that ad because 500 people who are 45 miles away clicked on it, is that going to be helpful to you or not?
No, but if I like the 60K, if I decrease it to 50, maybe I get more people.
You could, and that's a good rationale. So here's the thing about that, Abdul. There's no right or wrong here. There's no right or wrong. How do you know if it's working? Yeah, you get this thing, right? That's what happens. That's how you know your marketing is working, because you're converting and you're getting money. You're getting paid. The key thing is that if it's not working, don't spend that much money on it anymore. You have to learn. And we call that, and I call that the process in marketing. It's sort of like 4 segments of marketing. The first one is a plan. Then you have to have a strategy. And we'll cover this a little more. Then you have to execute, right? And then you have to measure. So we're going to be measuring whether or not that ad was successful. So plan, strategy, execute, and measure. Plan, strategy, execute, and measure. Plan, strategy, execute, and measure. We're going to keep doing that until we find the right formula, the right combination of what this mix is. And hopefully when we do it, we don't spend all of our marketing budget in one area. That's the key. Just as COVID was hitting, I had a good friend of mine. I actually took my MBA with him. We give each other business over the years. He says, Ken, I have someone I worked with. They own a place up in Pompano, and their business is shut down. It was a warehouse that sold sinks and tubs and stuff for bathrooms, right? So when COVID shut down, no one was going into the warehouse to buy. So he had a website, but he wasn't doing anything online. He said, I want to start advertising and promoting things online. I said, great. I met with the guy, met with him once, met with him twice. He says, I want to hire you. I said, okay, good. Let's get to work. He says, but we need to generate at least $20,000 worth of sales in the first month. I said, well, that's not possible. I said, that, you're asking me to do something. He said, well, I thought you were good at this. I said, I am good, but there's no magic, right? I can't guarantee. He goes, well, I met someone that can promise me that. I said, well, then go with them, because you're going to get a broken promise. It can happen. It's possible, but not unlikely, right? So you have to plan first, strategize, execute, and measure, and do it over and over again until you find the proper formula. And that's going to be the key. So if you had $100 to spend, you don't spend $100 on one ad. You probably spend $20 on one ad, maybe $20 on the second ad, and now you have $60 left to come back and spend it on the ad that performed the best, right? Because you have a better chance of success. There's no magic here. There's the science and the art of measurement. That's the key, all right?